We have to talk about Bitcoin Ordinals. With Bitcoin reaching its all-time high, basically it started a new bull cycle as well as the renewed interest in NFTs. There are now NFTs on Bitcoin called Bitcoin Ordinals. Well, they are around for a year and there are many interesting projects around. So I've been recording many different videos about Bitcoin Ordinals throughout the last year. And basically in this video, I want to take a step back and look at the data beyond this first year. So basically we'll be going with this data that is super unique, and this is the data of the first million inscriptions divided into collections. You have basically 740 different collections that were inscribed before 1 million, which is not that much. And especially if you look at the collections above 300 elements, there are only 100 collections. So you can even memorize them all if you were to want that. So basically we'll be looking at not only those top collections, because if you want to enter right now Bitcoin Ordinals market, it might be hard with the top collections, because with the prices like 0.7, 0.3, 0.1, 0.2 of BTC, you basically are talking about thousands and thousands of dollars to even buy a single Ordinal. I wanted to show you a couple of collections, and especially one which is super cheap to enter and still has historical reasons to be probably very interesting in the future. Of course, nothing is financial advice. You have to remember that I'm only talking about this from the purely educational perspective and because I like these collections. So to have that in mind, Ordinals do not have anything behind them than just art. So you have to also keep that in mind, because they usually do not have any kind of roadmap, any kind of utility. You're just buying them for the vibes, memes, and the community maybe behind them. So this is about the Ordinals. Let's get started with this diagram. This is the data that shows you how Ordinals are basically reaching its all-time high when it comes to inscriptions. Basically, right now you have over 60 million inscriptions. Of course, most of them are related to BRC20 tokens, different meme coins on Bitcoin itself. There are 50 million inscriptions related to BRC20, so 10 million goes to basically NFTs, to Ordinals related to just art. And basically you can see that the first 2 months were basically very slow compared to the rest. Of course, there are still many collections being inscribed, but basically we're talking about this period here in the very beginning. So as you can see, you have this period going from February, when the first inscriptions were started, the 1st of February, to basically around April 8, when inscription number million were inscribed. So we're talking about 2 months really here. And the data that I want to show you in this video is related to this period. So this is the very first 2 months of Ordinals, and those collections are definitely worth remembering for that. So that's why I'm focusing on that period. As you can see, basically the boom started around 1.5 million inscription, because that was the moment when BRC20 tokens were introduced, and then the entire market boomed and we have so many inscriptions right now. So this is super interesting. You can see the entire data set also down below in the links. If you want to go there, we'll be going with this data. I want to have a shout out to our data, who helped me prepare the entire thing. I basically just cleaned and presented the data for you, but basically he did the hard work of scraping everything. I just added different links and basically cleaned it to the way that I wanted to show you. Because what I wanted to show you is that there are a couple of collections that are very interesting for different reasons, but basically in this file that you can find on degenfrog.com/ordinals for free, available right now, the link again down below in the description, you have collections that have all their assets below 1 million inscriptions. So I didn't include collections that started sub 1 million and then have some of the elements above it. There was a clear cut at 1 million, and that's it. If your collection has something above it, then it's out. That basically, I think, cut it around 100 collections or maybe 50 collections, something like that. But altogether, we don't have that many collections. So let's start with the biggest ones. So you have Note Monkeys, of course, but apart from Note Monkeys, you have basically 10 other collections. Altogether, you have 11 collections that have 10,000 elements or more. The biggest ones being BTC artifacts that's connected also to BTC virus. So you have those two collections. BTC artifact sits at 50,000 assets. So that's the biggest one when it comes to the sub 1 million collections. And then you have a bunch of other collections. So you have Bitcoin digits, Bitcoin punks, mega punks, Bitcoin frogs, Doge punks, Bitcoin punks again, Bitcoin moonbirds, Bitcoin bear cubs, BTC virus, and node monkeys. Now, the interesting fact is that both Bitcoin punks, you have two collections of Bitcoin punks, which are copies of original Bitcoins. You have many collections like that. And also you have Doge punks, also very interesting. And the original collections from here are definitely node monkeys and also BTC virus, which are the new designs. If you look down, then basically you can see that from below 10,000, you have collection which has 5,000 Bitcoin babies, 4,000 the Ordinal war, and then you have below 4,000. And then basically a couple of collections that have 3,000 elements, just 3 Bitcoin monkeys, misprints, on-chain punks. Then 2,000 starts, and you have a bunch of collections here. And then basically you have only, if you look at it, you have only 43 collections that have over 1,000 elements. So this is not much. And even if you look down below, then basically for me the cutoff is basically around 300 elements, because with 300 elements you can already build a community. Maybe 250 if you want to, but if you look at 300 element collections sub 1 million, then you have only 100 collections. So this is really not much. This is something you could really memorize. So this is a very small class of collections, and I would definitely look for alpha here. Then interesting part here is, of course, how many holders they have. As you can see, some of those collections have many holders. This means that they are traded well. There are many buyers and sellers of those, and those collections were well received in the end. Of course, you can still look for alpha looking at the lower prices here, but basically those collections are saying, well, what I'm looking at is collections that have super low holder count. So for example, here, single digits, the collection has 3,000 elements, 57 holders, means that something is going on. Not many people started buying. Maybe not all of them are listed. Maybe the team has got away, do not list at all, stuff like that. So this is, if you look at that, then basically you don't really have many collections at all. Basically, especially if you look at single digits, then basically you have, I think, 3 collections. So you have LGB Ordinals, which sits at 2 holders right now. So probably it's not listed at all. You have also the collection, let's go down. I think you had also something here. Yeah, beat badges by Fomojis with 9 holders, so of 400 elements, which is also not much. You have Ordinal Ape Punks, again, 333 elements and only 2 holders. And I'm going to talk about this collection in a moment. And also you have Kokitoshi at 250 and 4 holders. If you go down, of course, then you will find collections which are which also has single digit holders, but are much smaller. So for example, you have collection called Bitcoin with 1 holder, so just the creator, Bulls versus Bears, same thing, 1 holder, and so on. But those collections are super small, meaning it's much harder to build a community around it, but still, if you manage to buy one of them, then that might be very interesting. In this video, I want to talk more also about Ordinal Ape Punks, because I managed to contact the team and they started listing some of the Ordinals. So the cool stuff is that this collection basically runs from 300,050 to 400,020 K. So this is definitely before even 500,000 of inscriptions. This was done in the first couple of the first 2 months of the Ordinals even existing. And then all the data is of course on chain, so that cannot be modified. The team is a little bit active, Anon team, no roadmap, classic Ordinals. This is based on classical punks, but they have original designs, something new at the very least from what I can see. So I basically managed to contact the team. They started listing some of the stuff, and they managed to, they actually listed that for a pretty low price of 0.001 BTC, which is around $60-70 with the current price of Bitcoin. So I bought a couple. Of course, nothing here is financial advice. I should underline it multiple times, because especially with Ordinals, this is super risky. So you should always take the risk responsibly, think about what you can win, what you can lose. But having said that, I like the collection, so I wanted to give it a shout out. And this is one of the examples of those collections that just didn't get attention when they were out. They have a Twitter, I think they have also maybe Discord, not very active, but still they are there. They can't really, even if they get away, they can't really rack anything because everything here is on chain. So this is a really good moment. I'll definitely look at this collection if you're looking for cheap entry into Ordinals, because with this low of the price, I don't think you can find anything lower currently. And this is really interesting stuff here. Again, not a financial advice. Have a look yourself and see for yourself what you think. Going back to the to the entire list here. So this is one of the examples. At least this is the one listed. From the other two collections, they are not listed. You can't buy any elements from them. I was trying also to approach some of the teams here to have more information, but no one responded to me. So I'm doing that with only this one collection for now, but I'm definitely going to report on more. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff here hidden in this data of those 700 first collections on Ordinals, especially as we celebrate the first year of Ordinals. This is going to be big, so definitely have a look at the list. Let me know what you think. If you're a creator of one of those collections, also hit me up in the comments or just write to me on Twitter. I'm happy to respond, happy to give you a shout out on Twitter or here in a video. I want to cover more collections that are interesting, especially from the first year of Ordinals, because this is something huge. We are in a probably bull market, and those collections are super interesting because these are the innovators on the Bitcoin, and they're worth mentioning here. And I believe some of them might be super valuable, as we see with Node Monkeys. Again, do not risk more capital than you can afford to lose. This is super risky, even more risky than just buying crypto. So do your research before deploying any more capital into this kind of collections. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.